Yes. Yeah, I'll just get started. Today, well, first of all, to introduce myself, I'm Pascal de Klein. I'm the Scamman sales manager, actually responsible for global sales of the Scamman product. I started working 2 years ago for the company. Before that, I was very active as a sales manager and sales director in all kinds of roles for e-invoicing and business-to-business integration company. So quite in the same area as AP automation, of course. Yeah, to give you, I would like to start to give you a little bit of a background on our own company. Yeah, we actually started in 2007. The company was founded by former GD Edwards EMEA financial specialists. We are originally from Europe. And actually, at the moment, we have a global customer base all across the globe in all kinds of regions. At the moment, it's a little bit more than 250 clients. We are a 100, yeah, just I would say just like GSI, also completely focused on GD Edwards. We are a GD Edwards house, or how do you call it, a GD Edwards shop. Independent entity, part of a bigger group called Forza IT Group. In 2015, we decided to go for because we saw a lot of a need for AP automation in the GD Edwards market. That's why we started the financial process suite with all kinds of financial process automation solutions. Today, we'll be talking about the accounts payable automation solution, but we also have solutions for accounts receivable reconciliation, like for instance, remittance advice processing, and sales automation, also and also solutions for instance, payment automation, bank statement, and on the AP part also additional vendor management portals as being self-servicing supplier management portals. Rapidly growing, 34% year-on-year growth from the start. Majority is directly supported and serviced by our own company, but we also have a select group of partners. And in the US, that is, of course, GSI. Yeah, like I said, a whole range of solutions. We call this the Scamman Financial Suite. And here you see actually an overview of all those solutions. So yeah, mind you, if you're also having a need for automating other financial process, for instance, on the AR side, we also can provide you with solutions for that. But yeah, of course, today we're talking about the AP automation piece. Looking at that one, at the moment, we have a little bit more than 150 clients globally. And if you're looking at North America, it's a little bit more than 100, which makes us the market leader, especially when it comes to integrated solutions. As you can see, we have our customers in all the key sectors of GD Edwards. So I assume that quite a few logos here are quite familiar for you people. And if we particularly look at the cooperation, the cooperation between the GSI and our own company, we have a few mutual customers, and we cooperated in the past, like for instance, that Westmoreland call, Washington County, and another one that I know by heart is, for instance, Jurgensen. Okay, first of all, because one of the subjects of this webinar is the fact that we are talking about an embedded AP automation solution, GD Edwards embedded. Well, what does that actually mean? Well, first of all, we have the certificate, the certification from Oracle of being an Oracle validated integration solution. We actually have the trademark from the start of the product in 2015. First thing that I would like to say about embeddedness is the fact that this solution, and you see on the right-hand side, you see a picture of the workbench. This is the central repository of the Scamman system. You see a picture there, and you can immediately see that you are actually working in GD Edwards. And you see the same menu structure in the top, the way of working, the look and feel. This is the reason for that is the fact that this solution is completely developed in the Oracle GD Edwards E1 system. We're also using Scanman system code based on Oracle. And there's not a single solution in the market that does the same. What is the big advantage of that is the fact that when it comes to, for instance, validations of data, all the invoice details in the system are real-time matched and validated against the real-time master data of JD Edwards. Also the JD Edwards address book, for instance, and all kinds of modules also have a direct 100% fit with our own solution. So all the business rules, for instance, all the GD Edwards security, data validation, it also applies to Scanman. Very unique in the market. So this is, yeah, so you can actually consider this solution as being an E1 module itself. Yeah, and what is then, of course, the main advantage, of course, is the fact that you have this as being one solution in that same GD Edwards environment. That the solution will be installed in your GD Edwards E1 environment, which means that your AP department just works in one interface on the whole financial and AP processes. It's also very handy, of course, if you have new staff, very low effort of training those, and also getting up to speed for people that are already working with GD Edwards is very, very simple. Like I said, direct access to GD Edwards master data, real-time data validation. So you're always looking at the single source of truth, which is of course quite different if you work with a standalone solution. We also see a lot of standalone solutions in the market. Standalone solution means that the information from GD Edwards is imported and exported to a standalone solution. That standalone solution always needs an integration layer and also can create data synchronization issues because you're working in two different environments and it's not real time. With embeddedness, you don't have that problem. It's all real time, integrated, synchronized in one environment. And the other thing is, looking from a sustainability point of view, for every single update in the well, actually, also when it comes to old releases, but older releases of GD Edwards, but also all the new releases, the system will automatically be upgraded or updated too. So in that case, you also will not face any disruptiveness. This is of course very different when you have a standalone solution, or one which is dependable on an integration layer. The solution itself, this is an overview how it works. It's quite detailed, but maybe good to give you a little bit of an idea. On the left-hand side, you see all the receiver methods that we standardly support. So we see a lot of PDFs or documents that come in via email. Of course, we still see paper-based invoices. We also see, it's quite marginal, but we also see XMLs coming in, or our organization that work, for instance, in South America, also receive XML invoices. All these receiver methods are standardly supported by the system, and we also monitor, for instance, designated email boxes. And once an invoice will come in as an attachment, it will automatically be picked up by the system and go through. And you see that in the middle, it's called OCR. This is the OCR engine, it's optical character recognition, of course. That is the system that is used for the recognition of all the necessary invoice details. The paper-based invoice can, of course, be scanned. They can also be sent to a certain designated email box that we monitor, or you can use network folders or cloud storage, and we can also monitor those positions. And automatically, these invoices, once they appear in those positions, will automatically also be picked up and go through that same OCR. XMLs are automatically translated. All kinds of XML structures are standardly supported. Those are automatically translated into UBL, which is International Standard for e-invoicing, and then exchanged with the GD Edwards E1 / Scanman environment. Yeah, it's a bit technical, but for the IT people in the audience, BSSV server is used as kind of an integration or the output between the OCR and E1/SCAMMAN. For the new releases, 22 and 23, we use AIS server technology for that. And within SCAMMAN, embedded within GD Edwards, there's a lot of things that can be automated. First of all, it's the verification of the data and the validation against the master data and the recognition of all the necessary invoice details, like the header level, header data, for instance, but also the line items, for instance, etc., etc. Invoices can be automatically coded or manually coded, but yeah, of course, majority of our customers prefer to do this automatically. We have two-way and three-way matching for the PO-based invoices, invoices against POs or invoices against POs and goods receipts or receipts. Automatic approvals can be set up in the system, especially for cost invoices. So all these methods, or actually all those functionality, actually makes this process almost a 100% automated process. And besides that, we also have additional functionality to give you a better insight on statuses and on the process itself, and also on the business continuity. So, for instance, delegation of roles can be set up in the system, but we also provide reporting, standard reporting in the system. For every single invoice, there's an audit trail in place. For visibility and also for auditing purposes, of course. And last but not least, on the fly, if you would like to upload the invoice, it's also possible within the system. And then on top of that, so this is the basic system, SCAMMAN, integrated within GD Edwards in E1 environment. Additionally, for the approvals, we also have an approval app on the mobile, which makes use of the AIS server technology to make a real-time connection between that mobile approval app and the E1 environment. So at the end, we can say this is a one-stop when it comes to invoice processing within GD Edwards within one environment. And then I would like to highlight a few things which are very beneficial for getting a maximum automation, also maximum recognition. First of all, it's the data capture piece. So this is the optical character recognition part of the solution. We make a strategic choice a few years ago to go for a solution called ABBY. The reason for that is the fact that this one makes use of keywords and algorithms. It's a bit of a technical thing, but what's the main advantage? Working with keywords and automatically these keywords are recognized within templates. It means that it doesn't matter where this information is stated in the template of the supplier, or if it would change position in that template. Based on the fact of this technology, it will still recognize the details, the information. So position changed in the template, invoice number is not on this position, but it's in the top or on the bottom or on the 5th page. It will still recognize, because of the fact that it's the keyword concept in combination with artificial intelligence that makes this a very easy OCR solution, it makes it the OCR solution with a very high recognition rate and also very easy to maintain. Because if suppliers will change their templates, it doesn't matter, it does not have an initial effect on the recognition of this done by this OCR engine. And we see a lot of those template-based OCR solutions where you have to train for every single supplier, you have to train the system. Where is this information stated in the template, etc., etc. And once suppliers change the templates, then you really have to do it again, and it's very hard to maintain. This is the reason why we went for the keyword concept and the ABBY OCR solution. Looking at invoice matching, like I said, PO-based invoices can also be automatically processed within the system. we had a research last year in a Scamman base, and we found out that over 91% of all the invoices, the PO-based invoices that are processed within the system, are automatically successfully matched. So yeah, almost 100%, I would say. The reason for that is the fact that during that 150 plus implementations in the past, we came across a lot of specific matching rules, requirements, exceptions, and we added that also to the solution. And so, for instance, landed cost, for instance, is something that is also added, I think, in the previous release as being an example. So at the end, also compare to other solutions, you'll see that this also will bring maximum automation, both two-way and three-way. Also, when it comes to the approvals, there's actually a few ways of doing approvals, of course. Yeah, first of all, we build our voucher approval functionality within Scamman, as you can see also over here on the right-hand side. So people that needs to do an approval, or actually are responsible for the approval of a certain invoice, can of course directly go into the system if they have the GD Edwards credentials, and then can do this one by one. They can work on the approvals of those invoices. But there's more because, yeah, we would like to make it as easy as possible. We also providing additional ways of doing approvals. First of all, it was a direct one. Second one is by working with email notifications. So email notification will be received by the approver, and he or she can actually approve or reject that one directly into an email notification, or they can click on a link, and then they can also go into this voucher approval screen and do their approvals. That's another functionality, or actually possibility. Third one is the mobile approval app. You can see a few pictures of it. Yeah, actually very simple. All the functionality that you also have in a voucher approval overview, or functionality, you will also have in that same or that invoice approval app. And yeah, you're talking about the fact that you can not only approve, of course, invoices, but you can also reject it. You can ask questions within the organization. So actually you can prolong the workflow, the approval workflow by, for instance, involving colleagues in the approvals. You can put it on hold, you can reject it, and reject will automatically, normally it will go back to the AP department to review it. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities here. And also to mention here is, maybe you have also saw it in one of the previous slides, is that in this user interface, you constantly also see the invoice image. And this is typically what's also in Scamman, is that in every single step within the system, you'll always have access to the invoice image directly. Like said, visibility control, also a very, very hot topic and very important in our customer base. Yeah, mainly through reporting and dashboarding. Because of the fact that we have an embedded system in JD Edwards, that means we have, like I said, direct access to all the real-time master data, but also means all the AP, AR, financial data of JD Edwards. We can also analyze and monitor. Within the solution itself, there is already a standard reporting and query application. I think at the moment there are 37 standard reports available within Scamman itself, and also some dashboards. It's mainly on the AP statuses, the status of invoices, exception overviews, vendor performances, all these kind of things. For a lot of customers, this is okay, but we also see and saw in the past that there's also sometimes more need when it comes to or other ways to do reporting within organizations. This is the reason why we also build some best practices for reports now, the DAS solution, for instance, Hubble and OneView reporting, because those three systems are widely found within the GD Edwards market. So this is another one. So first of all, you can work with standard reports in Scamming itself, build your own queries, and then or the utilization of one of those three additional solutions to get a bit of grip on the AP processes and of course the exceptions. Okay. I think if you just, and this is also based on research that we did in our customer base in the past, and also the experience that we had with all those implementations and all the feedback that we got from customers that already working with the solution for many years. So we looked at what are the efficiency gains of having such an embedded JD Edwards AP automation solution in place. Well, not a surprise. Hopefully, first of all, it's cost savings. Our experience is that at least 75% you can save on cost here. And what are those cost savings? So first of all, it's on the, well, don't get me wrong, it's not that you have to get rid of your personnel, but you can also, of course, let them do more valuable tasks or those kind of things. Because if you're working with such a solution, the people, and I'm more talking about the AP persons here, are more working on the exceptions, which is only a few percent, or maybe for instance 9% when it comes to the voucher matching, instead of 100% or partly manual entry. Because you have more visibility on the data, there's less or minimum errors, and also kind of a reduction on the rework. And also because there's an audit trail in place for every single invoice, and you can see all the information when it comes to a certain invoice all in one system. If there's a problem, not so much research time needed to get to understand what the problem is with an individual invoice, for instance. Another one, of course, and that's more those first three are more on the efficiency of the work itself, and of course total cost of ownership is also lower because it is already in JD Edwards. You are completely in sync with JD Edwards. No need for an additional standalone solution where you have to also hook up with other servers or cloud services or those kind of things. And also, of course, when it comes to getting your personnel up to speed, also means so training purposes. Training involvement is also quite low, I would say. So it's very easy to get the personnel involved here. Also lower cost on that side, I would say. And then, of course, cycle times. We saw in our customer base, we did interviews with a few customers. We saw on average 14 working days in the past before they had an embedded AP automation solution. And after implementation, of course, majority is successfully processed within seconds. And because it's an auto-print process, you only work on exceptions. And if you look at the exceptions, you're talking about a few days, not 14 days. So tremendous reduction of the cycle time here. Already explained a bit on more visibility, more in control. Every single invoice there's an audit trail. You can, it's all visible for yourself, and also to see the status of invoices and also who worked on what in certain steps of the process. The dashboarding report will also help you there, and also when it comes to escalation handling, escalations, for instance, and alerting. There's a lot of, and this is also very important, is that, of course, people can be on holiday or people are not reacting, like, for instance, people that need to do an approval. Then there's all the things in place. You can set up alerts to say, okay, after so many days, you have to alert that particular person, or there will be an escalation started up within the system. And this is all for the purpose of business continuity, of course. Also, when it comes to the delegation of the roles as being a standard functionality here. Last but not least, it's also about the vendors. Working automated means, and better insight in the process means more confidence, more satisfaction, also from the vendor end, and of course, minimum, because in the past there could be late payments, penalties, because a lot of long cycle times, and maybe sometimes invoices got lost, and now it's not the case. So minimum late payment, actually I would say no late payments and penalties. So you can also save there, and it makes you also a more reliable partner for the vendor. Another thing that I would like to highlight is the fact that we also, and this is also important, I also talked about the fact that for every new release of JD Edwards, the scamming system will also be automatically upgraded. But of course, we also have our own upgrades and updates. But we constantly would like to improve the solution itself based on the input from our customers, based on the experience of our, based on experience of new implementations, for instance. So every year we have one major upgrade and one minor. Well, if I look back to the last year, we had one minor one in the summer, which is more on language support. So of course, English is one, but we also support Spanish and French. So we have, I would say, kind of almost a full coverage for North America from that perspective. And next week there will be a new release of a new major release, 15th of March, which will include a few things. First of all, I already spoke about two-way matching, but we actually kind of completed that for the new version. Standardly, of course, JD Edwards is only suitable for three-way matching, but we see a lot of customers having a need for two-way matching. So that's the reason why we added that as a standard functionality. Dynamic XML mapping, meaning it's more a bit of a technical thing, but it means that there's more XML formats that we standardly support for the system. Like I said, very important for customers who work, for instance, a lot in South America, because in South America, especially in Chile, Argentina, Brazil, those kind of countries, you will always, and you have the suppliers there, you will always receive XMLs, because every single XML between a vendor and a customer needs to be exchanged via a government portal, and the output of that government portal is always an XML. But we are prepared for that, also based on the experience. More dashboarding, so also that functionality in JD Edwards, I would say, in Scamming, I would say, will also be extended. More artificial intelligence, so actually we extended also the keyword library for the OCR, so even more keywords are automatically recognized by the system. I forgot to mention that OCR engine also automatically supports more than 190 different languages. So even if you receive invoices in Chinese, Japanese, Thai, or you name it, it will also be out of the box, be supported by that OCR solution. And last but not least, REST-driven integration. I was also talking about that one in one of the previous slides. Not only BSS server, but also AIS server for the integration layer between the output of the OCR and the XMLs and the JD Edwards environment. So at the end, yeah, it's all about maximal automation and minimal intervention. Okay, what I would like to do now is to check in. I'm not going to do a full demo of ScanMan, but I just want to show you a little bit on the look and feel and the way of working in ScanMan itself. So let me see if I can. I need to log into another user interface. That's this one. Yeah. Okay. So I will log in our own demo environment of ScanMan. As you can see, it's the same login as JD Edwards itself. I will log in as an AP admin. So I will see all the information that you can actually reach within the system. I will not touch all these things here. This is an overview of, and this is also what we produced for the demo environment. Is a reproduction of the process itself, and also some standard quick links to certain very important functionality of the system. So, for instance, the query application, delegation, yeah. For instance, you can set up standard tolerances within the system, rounding tolerances, those kind of things. We also have a setup section because the system is very flexible. So, of course, we will start with the during the implementation. We'll set up the system up in a way that it will align with your AP processes, of course, but we'll also train you in how to change the setup and how to manage things. So, for instance, if you click here, and this is more for the admin user of the system, so the super user. We were talking about escalations and approval workflows, and they can all be set up here and changed within the system yourself. Also, other things. I'm not going to touch everything, but it's just to give you an idea on that that the system is flexible and that you are also capable of being flexible yourself in the way that you want to manage that and to manage the AP processes and, for instance, the approvals. Yeah, let me touch on the okay. So what I will do, I will quickly explain what happened with an invoice. So this is the workbench, the ScanMan workbench. This is the central repository of the system. All the invoices will end up in this overview. And as you can see, same menu structure, or actually same menu as JD Edwards itself. You see all kinds of invoices that came into the system with the statuses. And I'm AP admin, I can see them all. Mainly the AP persons are only focusing on the exceptions, so they will only see the ones who failed or have an error and those kind of things. Yeah, let me explain what happened with with this first one, this pizza tax no purchase order US. This one was emailed to a designated email box, automatically picked up by the system, went through in the background through the OCR engine and ended up here. And what also happened is the fact that, and you see also here on the right hand side, you see the invoice image. Like I said, this is visible in every single step of the process within ScanMan. But all the necessary invoice header fields are recognized by the OCR. They have put into import value, and the system automatically validated this against the JD Edwards master data, and that's the process value here, and also the related header fields here. This is a cost invoice, so PO number is not fetched, but here the invoice amounts, you can see it's the totals, it's the VAT. We can work with multiple VATs, not a problem, 5 lines, but if more is needed, we can also edit those. But yeah, we haven't seen more than 5 different VATs for customers at the moment. Also, so came in, recognition of all the data, one-to-one real-time validated against the master the Edwards. That was a tick in a box, perfectly all right. Then another thing is that this one is automatically coded because of the fact that that's a setting for this invoice, is that recognition of the, in this case, this is just an example, the recognition of the supplier, and the supplier is connected to a certain GL account, and that's purely a setup, and then it could also be automatically coded. So that's another thing that was automatically done for this invoice, and also a voucher has been created. And if I go here, I can already, so this is the voucher and that's been created. This is just a scenario that we're following. So recognition, validation, automatically coding, preliminary voucher on hold, because yeah, you can see here that there's also approvals that are kicked off. First one is, I think, with the email notification. Second is with the mobile app. But we don't have the time to go through that. But I just want to show you it here. Yeah, if you look at the voucher, you also see that this is automatically coded to a certain GL account. And if these approvals are successful, then this voucher actually goes into another status, pay status called approved for payment, eligible for payment. So that after the approvals, then it will go into a definite voucher. So for this invoice, all automated except for the approvals. But if that is also necessary, and for instance, based on tolerances, that can be substituted. It can be a 100% automated process.
Hey, Pascal, this is Mars. I just want to check in with you real quick. We've got about 15 minutes left before the end of the webinar. So we do have some questions that have been raised also. I can present those at the appropriate time for you to take a look at and answer in real time with our team. I just wanted to make you aware of a time check.
Yeah, I know. Give me 5 minutes and then we can go to the Q&A, if you don't mind.
That's great. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, because like I said, we were only briefly checking in because we don't have the time for a full demo here. I just want to show you this one, which is a PO-based one, and it's still in verify status. But I just want to show you that we also, you see also here that the image again. You see all red rectangles. That's the information that's been fetched by the OCR. That's been put into the header fields, like explained in the previous one. But now this one is going into another voucher entry mode. It's called the VMA. Because of the fact that the PO number, and in the background also could be also receipt, is one-to-one matched. So PO number is found here, for instance, by the OCR as being a PO number, and validated one-to-one into the as being a PO number in J Edwards itself. Also, if I push this into the next workflow step, then it will automatically match. But you just put it here on verify just to show you that this is happening. So actually, this is kind of a familiar one. The only thing also difference here is that that's also a big difference between mostly between PO-based ones and the invoices who are purely cost invoices. We also recognize line items here, and these are also, first of all, there are checks on the totals, the total on the invoice against the total on the selected lines. And the other thing is that this can also be matched. This is one-to-one, one invoice to one PO, but we can also match one PO to multiple POs. One invoice to one PO, one invoice against multiple POs, multiple POs against one PO, or multiple to multiple. It's all possible. All these scenarios are standardly supported by this solution. Okay, these are all more kind of happy flows. I can also show you. That's my last example. Okay, I need to check out, of course. Is if something goes wrong. So this runs, for instance, went through the same flow. It came in, validation of data, and then it went into, this is all a PO-based one. It went automatically into the voucher matching, but it failed. Yeah, so that's the reason why it was in status F. And now you can also have a look here, because there's a lot of things that you can look at the audit trail, for instance, what happened with that invoice, but you can also have a look at the analysis of this. So what actually happened, what is the problem with this invoice that was not properly matched against the POs and receipts. Well, this is an overview of this particular invoice. We have a specific workbench for that, particularly for the voucher match analysis. And here you can see the problem with this invoice. You see amount mismatch, the fact that it's also the variance between the invoice amount and receipt amount is 37.5%, which is very high, of course. So this is the reason why there was a mismatch, and actually the system would ask you to act on this. And there's a few things to do here. First of all, you can go to the this case it is a difference between the receipt and invoice. You can also have a look at the PO receipt and see if you need to fix it there. Yeah, you can go to the workbench, but we just came from the workbench, and you can also start a Q&A. Q&A can be internally and externally. So for instance, you can actually ask questions within your organization about this invoice, or you can directly start a Q&A, for instance, and set up an email communication with your supplier. So that's another reason how you. So this is a typical workbench to work on exceptions, and this one is particularly for the voucher matching. I think that's about it. Just want to show you quickly, very high over how this works, embedded system, and also the way that some invoices are processed within the system. Yeah, I think that's about it, Marcel.
Okay, great. I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw up a number of questions that we have. I'll switch the presentation and let's take a look at those. They are available out in our in the interface, but I think just for the sake of making it easy for everyone to see all the questions, I want to make sure, are you seeing the Q&A presentation right now?
Yes, most
perfect.
Definitely.
So I addressed Kevin's question initially. If you find anything in this that needs more explanation, let's deal with that at the end. And based on that, why don't we jump into some of these questions that were not answered? They may have been addressed during the presentation. You might want to just summarize that. So starting with question number 2, maybe you can deal with these.
Okay, do you have approval workflow for PO invoices? We do not use. Yeah, is it approval workflow for POs or for invoices, or for, because yeah, it doesn't matter. If you want to do approvals for PO-based invoices, yeah, that's also possible. If you want to do approvals for POs, which is of course a different different process, it's also possible, but not that's externalized in our vendor portal. But I assume we're talking about PO-based invoices here.
Okay, and just so that everyone on the call knows, we will be taking these questions, getting a written answer, and submitting those back to all of our attendees today. So we'll let, because our time is running short, I think what would be good, Pascal, is for you to just go through and address the questions with brevity, and then we can come back and provide a formalized response along with a copy of the presentation. Okay,
Sounds good.
We've got about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
So start on this next question. Name of your OCR product.
The OCR is Abby. That's ABBYY.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. It's actually dependable on where your GD Edwards instance is sitting, I would say. So it can be on-prem or can be hosted on-prem. But it's definitely not, it depends on your GD Edwards environment, because it's embedded in your environment.
Okay, and we'll complete that answer, but I think that helps them move forward. Kevin Brown's question, are there keywords configurable or is it a set list?
No, it's definitely configurable, and it's also you can also extend that keyword library.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about service in
Yeah.
Spain?
Yes, most definitely Spain or South America. Yeah.
Okay.
So the user interface is also in Spanish.
Great.
And I remember we did a lot of implementation also, especially in South America. If you use three-way match.
Does the PO, invoice, and receipt all match 100% per line received on the PO?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay. And then the last question relates to the using a vertex.
We cannot read it in one, sorry. We use vertex for sales and use text. We have fields for that. Yeah, those can be those can be populated in that invoice amount area. If we know what kind of information needs to be recognized by the system, then it can be set up.
Okay, great. Well, you know what? I want to thank you, Pascal. We've got about 5 minutes. I'd just like to wrap it up with the team. We'll go back and check for any additional Q&A that may have been out there. I do want to just call and if so, we'll respond to those questions. What you can expect from GSI is, again, just a thank you for attending our session today. I will include a copy of today's presentation. I'll include a copy of answers to questions that we have available. Feel free to follow up with us regarding any of those. If the question doesn't in enough detail, we'd be happy to set up a specific phone call and go through your items in detail. I want to call your attention to a couple of other things. We reminded people about some upcoming sessions. Best way to find out about additional education opportunities with GSI is to go right here to our website. When you go to that location, just look up getgsi.com. You're going to come out to the website. You're going to see a section on resources. You can find JD Edwards resources. You can look then for webcasts or conferences and events. You can also register so that you get proactive announcements about any upcoming events from GSI. So we'd really like to encourage you to participate in that. Also, if you go out and look at GSI on YouTube, you'll find access to literally hundreds of on-demand sessions that you can view, expand your knowledge of JD Edwards and your use of other products. We want to thank everyone for their participation today. We're grateful that you joined us. We'll be following up with you with additional information, and do not hesitate to reach back out. We would love to extend some conversations and find more ways to implement AP automation in your organization. Thanks again. We're going to bring everything to a close. We appreciate your participation today. Have a great day.